Okay, ready? So let's take some notes about Sonia Sotomayor. So I've got my note-taking sheet here, and I have mine on my computer. Maybe yours is printed out, or maybe you're making your own, which is totally fine too. A lot of you did that last week. Um, but we're taking notes on the same things that we did for Wilma Rudolph. We're taking notes about things that Sonia Sotomayor did, ways to describe Sonia Sotomayor, and then other notes of things that we think are important about Sonia Sotomayor's life. So we're going to start with the first article, which is the one that's called S is for Sonia. And I'm going to read through it, and then I'll stop every once in a while and tell you about some notes that I think you might want to take. You can take those too if you'd like. And then that's just to get you started. So then after that, I will still stop at certain places and have you take some notes, but I won't make suggestions of what notes you should take. Okay, here we go. Gotta make my head smaller again. Okay. Sonia Sotomayor, who reminds us to be fair and fierce all at once. Sonia Sotomayor was raised in a housing project in the Bronx in the 1950s. Her parents came to New York City from Puerto Rico, where they both had only limited opportunities for education. They didn't speak much English, and they worked hard so they could send Sonia and her brother to a good school. Sonia was very smart. She had perfect attendance and the best grades in the whole school. She was also brave. When she was 7, she was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes, a disease that affects the way your body digests sugar. She had to give herself a shot every day, all by herself. Even as a child, Sonia always loved the law. She read all the Nancy Drew books and thought of becoming a detective. But then she learned about judges and lawyers, and that changed her mind. I was going to college, and I was going to become an attorney, and I knew that when I was 10, she once said. Okay, so let's stop here and go to our note-taking sheet. And let's just think about some things that we just learned that Sonia Sotomayor did. So I'm remembering that some things that she did are she had diabetes and she had to give herself a shot every day. And that feels important because it kind of shows you like how responsible she was, and how independent she was, that she had to do this by herself when she was a kid. So I'm going to write down under things Sonia Sotomayor did. She had diabetes as a kid. She still does, but she got it when she was a kid. And had to give herself a shot every day. Okay. So you might want to take notes about that also, or you might want to take notes about something different. But I'm realizing that as I was talking about why I think that's important, I used the words responsible and independent to describe Sonia Sotomayor. So I'm going to go ahead and add those to my ways to describe Sonia Sotomayor. So I said she is responsible and also she's independent, which means she can take care of things by herself. She doesn't need a whole lot of help from other people. Okay, I'm also remembering that she kind of realized really early in her life that she wanted to be a judge. So she decided as a kid that she wanted to be a judge. I'm going to think for a moment. What does that say about Sonia? How can I describe her? I kind of want to use the same word I did for Wilma Rudolph, which is determined, which means she kind of knew what she wanted and she didn't give up. Okay. Any other notes? I think I want to write down, it feels important to me that Sonia's family came from Puerto Rico and didn't speak very much English, because it shows like how much harder they might have to work than some people who were born in the United States and did speak English. So I want to add that to my other notes about her. So Sonia Sotomayor's parents came from Puerto Rico to the United States, to New York City, I'm going to say, to New York, and didn't speak very much English. Okay. You might have some other notes that you think are important to jot down. This would be a good place to pause the video and write down anything else that you think are important things that Sonia Sotomayor did, or ways to describe her, or other notes from the part of the article that we just read. And restart the video when you're ready. Okay, so here we are again. I'm going to read the next part of the article, and this time I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to write down. I'm just going to have you stop and write down important things that you think Sonia Sotomayor did, ways to describe her, and then other notes that you think are important. Okay, so here we go. Sonia got a full scholarship to Princeton University. She was thrilled, but there were hardly any other Latinos there, and most people came from families with lots of money, nothing like what she knew back in the Bronx. She felt like a visitor landing in an alien country. At first, she felt too intimidated to ask questions during class, but Sonia believed in herself and knew she deserved to be there. Over time, she became a student leader and activist, and helped convince Princeton to hire more Latino professors and offer courses about Latin American history. At graduation, she was at the top of her class yet again. So I'm going to suggest that you pause here and go to your note-taking sheet and write down some things that Sonia Sotomayor did, some ways to describe Sonia Sotomayor, and some other notes. And I'm going to suggest, just from that part of the article I just read, I bet there's at least one more thing that you can add to things that Sonia Sotomayor did and ways to describe her. So pause the video here, take some notes, restart when you're ready. Okay, so let's read the last part of this biography together. I have to move my head. Here we go. Sonia worked as a lawyer for many years and as an advocate for women and the Puerto Rican community, but her dream was to be a judge. When it happened, Sonia was the first Puerto Rican woman to become a judge in a U.S. federal court. In 2009, President Obama called Sonia to see if she would like to join the Supreme Court, the most important court in the United States. She was so excited that she had to put her hand over her chest to calm her pounding heart. Sonia is the first Latino to ever serve on the Supreme Court and the third female Supreme Court justice in history. Okay, so I'm going to stop again at the end of the article here. I'm going to suggest that you add at least one thing to things that Sonia Sotomayor did and ways to describe Sonia Sotomayor and other notes. Go ahead and take those notes, pause the video, restart when you're ready, and we will begin the second biography next. So this might be a good place to stop for today and then just pick up the video here tomorrow to take notes on the second article. Okay, so welcome back, whether it's same day or whether it's tomorrow. We are now going to take notes about the second article, and we're just going to add these on to our same note-taking sheet. This article is longer, so there's actually some parts that I'm going to skip over that I read to you the first time, but I don't think you need to take notes on those parts. So you're going to notice me skipping a couple of parts and just reading the parts that I think you might want to take notes on. Okay, so this is from Time for Kids, Sonia Sotomayor. Sonia Sotomayor, June 25th, 1954 to present, made history when she became the first Hispanic U.S. Supreme Court justice. She assumed the role on August 8, 2009. Sonia Sotomayor is from the Bronx in New York City. Her parents, Juan and Selena Baez Sotomayor, had recently come to the United States from Puerto Rico. They wanted to start a family in New York. As a child, Sotomayor learned she had diabetes. She quickly learned to manage the illness. In later years, she said that helped her gain a strong sense of discipline. When Sotomayor was 9 years old, her father died. Her mother worked multiple jobs to provide for Sonia and her brother, Juan. Sotomayor has said that she turned to books to cope with the loss of her father. She credits her mother with encouraging her love of reading and her desire to excel in school. My mother taught us that the key to success in America is a good education, said Sotomayor during her Supreme Court confirmation hearing. She became a top student at Cardinal Spellman High School in the Bronx. She received a scholarship to attend Princeton University in New Jersey. Okay, so I'm going to suggest that you pause here and go to your note-taking sheet and think of something that you could add to, let's see, things Sonia Sotomayor did. I might add that she did really well in school because we found that out in that part of the biography. And I feel like that's important to know about her because it shows how hardworking she was. And that makes me want to add a word to ways to describe her. It's funny, it's another word that I also put for Wilma Rudolph, hardworking. And then other notes, I was thinking it's important to know that Sonia Sotomayor's father passed away when she was 9. Feels like an important thing to know about her. Okay, so you might want to write down those same notes. You might want to write down some different notes, but go ahead and pause your video and restart when you're ready to read the rest. Okay, welcome back. We're going to read the next part, and then I'll pause it and let you take some notes. I'm not going to tell you what I think you should take notes about this time, though. So you really have to have your thinking and your listening brain on and be thinking, what are those important ideas about Sonia Sotomayor that you want to make sure to write down? Sotomayor's first 2 years at Princeton were tough. She once said that when she got to the school, she felt like a visitor landing in an alien country. But when she graduated in 1976, Sotomayor received the Pine Prize. It is one of the university's highest honors. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving through this part. And I'm going to read this next part here. The Judge Who Saved Baseball. Sotomayor's skills as a lawyer and her volunteer work caught the eye of political leaders. In 1992, President George H.W. Bush nominated her to the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York City. So this is just showing that she's getting opportunities and jobs as a judge that are getting her to higher and higher courts. So her decisions have more and more power, and she is listening to more and more important cases. During her time at this job, Sotomayor heard the 1995 case dealing with a Major League Baseball strike. Team owners had changed rules about players' salary and free agency without asking the players' union. Sotomayor decided that it had been wrong for team owners to do this. Her decision ended the strike. The strike had caused the cancellation of the entire 1994 postseason and World Series. This feels like an important place to pause. Go to your note-taking sheet. What can you add from the parts of the article I just read about things Sonia Sotomayor did, ways to describe her, or other notes? Go ahead and pause your video. I'm going to take a sip of tea. Write down any notes you want to, and then restart it when you're ready. Okay, welcome back. Hope you took some good notes. We're going to go into the last part of this article. In 1998, President Bill Clinton appointed Sotomayor to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. So it's another higher up judge position. In 2009, President Barack Obama called her the judge that saved baseball when he nominated her to serve as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. This is when she became a Supreme Court Justice, where she's working now. The Senate quickly confirmed her. She joined the court on August 8, 2009. She was the first Hispanic and the third woman to become Supreme Court Justice. Recently, Justice Sotomayor has presided over Supreme Court cases dealing with issues on privacy, civil rights, and First Amendment rights. In 2013, she published her memoir, My Beloved World. Okay, so pause one last time here at the end of this article. Write down any more important notes that you think there are about things Sonia Sotomayor did, ways to describe her, or other notes that feel important. Okay, and then when you're done with all of that, you're going to go to the Schoology page and go to our course. I'm just showing you where to submit those notes. Okay, go to this week. You're going to go to the Submit Your Work Here folder. And there it is, Sonia Sotomayor notes. So you'll go ahead and send me your Sonia Sotomayor notes. If you can't get that page to work, then it's fine for you to just email me your notes. And then next week, we'll do some more thinking about Sonia Sotomayor and Wilma Rudolph, answer some questions about them. And we'll start thinking about what our opinions are about who we would rather meet and why. It's going to be a tough choice for me. I want to meet them both. Okay, so nice work with your note-taking. That's going to help you have some really, really great reasons, help you know what you're talking about, which is such an important skill in this world. And you learned some amazing things about two amazing women. Okay, thank you so much. Nice work, nice thinking, nice writing, and I'll see you later. Bye.